Prince Harry and Meghan Markle already plotting to break these so-called new Megxit rules. Because, of course, Megxit was never going to last, given they aren't making any money. So they did this new deal with the British royal family with Alison Boshoff, revealing the Sussexes have agreed to a whole load of respectful guidelines when they're in the UK. And that's the reason why the king decided to reunite with them and his grandchildren. But of course, they weren't able to stick to these rules. They aren't planning to stick to these rules. And according to Taz, has already dismantled this whole Megxit. It just doesn't have the same ring, does it? This whole Megxit scam. Sorry. But before we bring Tash in, let me show you the new revelations which prove these rules are just a joke, because Harry and Meghan are never going to stick to them. First, Tom Sykes on the Royalist podcast with Alison Boshoff revealing that there is a camera crew coming for the Invictus Games. It's always for the Invictus Games, isn't it? Yeah, right. Watch.
The important thing about the photo is it won't be taken by Harry or Meghan or by their side. I agree with you. I think there could be a photo, but it will be Charles. So, Harry's been told, no merching, no shenanigans. Okay, so that means no, here's our camera crew. There is a camera crew who will be following him at Invictus, by the way. Oh, yeah, I'm told. But, yeah, there could easily be a photo. And it will be a sweet photo. And, who boos a 5-year-old? Nobody. You have to be a monster, right? I mean, the kids, if the kids are in the picture, you can't actually go there. Even the people who really heartily dislike Harry and Meghan, and there are a lot of them, I don't think you can boo a picture of a grandfather with his grandchildren.
And it gets worse. A camera crew also expected to be in tow for this visit with the children, we believe, if they do end up coming, to Princess Diana's gravesite at Althorpe.
The other thing about the camera crew that I've heard, because then there's this proposed trip to Althorpe, which is closed on the 10th and 11th of July, because I've been told repeatedly that there is indeed a 30th anniversary Diana documentary coming. So it seems to me like they'd be minded to try and grab some B-roll of them all going on the boat over to the island to visit the grave. I mean, of course, we had that very melodramatic description of Meghan visiting the grave in Spare, where Harry goes away and she communes with Diana's spirit, and he comes back like 10 minutes later and she's kneeling on the grave with her hands on the memorial. But
were you not moved by that? I'm amazed.
I was
it
moved.
Was presented in a kind, in all seriousness, it is an awful tragedy, but it was presented in a very Milton way.
So, Tash, according to this new reporting, already this Megxit deal is a joke, because we're talking about a camera crew for the Invictus Games. They always say it's for the Invictus Games, but also a camera crew for Althorpe. So the idea that they're coming to the United Kingdom and this is a private visit and it's not just a content farming operation for them, I think is total rubbish. Fresh Harry and Meghan updates every single day. Yes, the ones the Montecito Mafia and MSM don't want out there. Subscribe to Outspoken for daily royal coverage. It's completely free.
Yeah, I do as well. I've never thought it's about reconciliation. I think it was, I still do not believe that the children are coming. That's just my personal feelings. I do believe that the children are being used, obviously, with Harry's latest attempt to force the hand to give him the security that he wants, because I believe Meghan and Harry are coming to film content. I think she'll come. But I think they're coming to film content for a documentary. There's something going on behind the scenes. They know that their only thing that's ever brought in decent money has been to do with the royal family. There's all of this drama that's come out of nowhere. They are the masters behind it. They're the ones pulling the strings. They're the one releasing the operational notes and pulling the plug, in the same manner that we had the Kardashian Gate photo scandal. You know, once the horse is bolted, it's no point closing the gate. And that's exactly what they've done. So I think they are coming over for content. And again, another reason why I think the king needs to steer very well clear of these two. But all thought that was the only thing I genuinely thought, if the kids would come in, because I can see Meghan and Harry seeing the worth of the children, the backs of their heads at least, at Diana's gravesite. You know, we saw Archie when he was a baby in Netflix footage stroking a photograph of Diana on the wall. And we know that Meghan is obsessed with trying to pretend that she is Diana's reincarnation, and Harry seems to like it for whatever Freudian reason. But yeah, I can't see the children truthfully come in. I think that has just been another attention grab. But as for them with the film crews, of course they were coming over here for something self-serving. They could have been on a plane, on a helicopter, and met with the king many, many times. Or maybe not Meghan. Maybe the king genuinely doesn't want to see Meghan, but Harry could have done. He could have easily come into this country. If Harry can arrive in China and no one knows, if Harry can get all the way to Ukraine and no one knew, if Meghan can get to Paris, no one knew, then he could have easily come into this country. There are countless trips that those two have done between them to different countries, even different states in America, where people have not seen them because they use the private VIP entrance and exits at the airport. These two are capable of coming over here in privacy if they want to, but they don't. And this has just been blown up rather big. I don't think even anybody, I haven't seen a single newspaper actually talk about the reason why Harry was originally meant to be coming, and that was for the 1 year to go Invictus event. I'd be interested to know what these Invictus people think about it right now, because they have completely overshadowed anything to do with the Invictus Games yet again. But Harry is the founder, as he keeps calling himself, so I don't really see that they're going to change anything about this. But I do think this is going to be another nail in the coffin, as it were, for Invictus, because more and more people are just beginning to see it for what it is, and it has become very much the Meghan Markle show.
Yeah, and it's a circus. And Tash, you're completely right, because for so long I have been saying there is such a simple way for Harry and Meghan to bring the children. It would be at Balmoral over the summer. It could all be done in total privacy. Private jet to Aberdeen, that short journey. And remember, Harry made that journey after the late Queen Elizabeth II's death with no issues whatsoever, into protection at Balmoral. No one would know, no one would see, and actually no one would care. But it's not about that. It's not about that. It is all about emotional blackmail to try and secure him the security forever, because then he can come and go as he pleases, and not just here. If he gets it here, the problem is he gets it everywhere. I know this because I know former politicians in the UK who have reached the top levels. And if they travel overseas, Tash, their security detail goes with them. So people have to realize and wake up to what Harry is actually trying to achieve. It's not about him being protected when he's in the United Kingdom. He wants us, you, me, Tash, as British taxpayers, to pay for his security if he is in Nigeria, if he is in Colombia, if he does join Meghan Markle in Chicago. That is a massive security bill that he cannot afford because the commercial deals have all run out. And that's what this is about. And it annoys me that people have not woken up to that. He knows he's safe in the UK, but he has to pretend he's not safe in the UK so that he gets UK police security forever. And that means wherever he is in the world. But look, I do want to go through this Alison Boshoff reporting with you, Tash, about Megxit, because it is interesting what they apparently agreed to. So Boshoff reports, and remember, she is the reporter at the Mail who has been tasked with sort of presenting Harry and Meghan's side to the world. In short, what is the Sussexes' broader strategic aim? What do they want to achieve? Those questions can now largely be answered, and they reveal the seeds of a post-Megxit future, which, if it comes to fruition, could be of historic, personal, and institutional significance for the royal family. For as a source close to Harry revealed to me, this visit is nothing less than step one in Operation Reconciliation. Well done with that, you blew it up. A carefully thought-through plan to heal the wounds between Harry and his family. The prince is seemingly determined to ensure he and his wife delicately tiptoe through their visit here. He is frankly desperate not to ignite the embers of the bonfire of bad feeling that has rolled between him and the royals. Now, what's so funny about this, of course, is that all of this briefing was completely blown up by Harry, who cannot help himself. He's even hoping, Boshoff reports, to have Meghan and Archie meet brother William, plus Kate and their children. So, Tash, let's pause there. Is there any chance that William and Catherine would allow that to happen?
Absolutely none. There is no way that they're going to allow themselves to be used as a pawn in this. I mean, Catherine, I was funnily enough thinking about Catherine earlier today, and it was just Meghan and Harry both lied about her. And to be that person where you've had other people be cruel and unkind to you, that have bullied you, that have made you cry, and then for them to have publicly told everybody you are the horrible person after everything Catherine had gone through, the public rings of fire that she's had to go through her entire life, where everybody's chomping at the bit for her to, put a foot out of place. They completely lied about Catherine. And then she's had to watch them say that she was the bad person. I can't imagine Catherine would forgive that. I can't imagine who are these people that want Catherine to forgive that awful sense of betrayal. I mean, Meghan was someone that was briefly in the family. You can forget about her, be indifferent to her. But Harry, who she had known since he was a teenager, Harry, who she was close to, there's no way that she would want him anywhere near her. But more importantly now, her eldest son, who is at the age where he is now taking on royal engagements. They want to keep George away from this toxic mess. And William, he's never going to forgive the younger brother that sat there on TV and implied that Prince William doesn't love his wife. He only married his wife because she was a Stepford.
Yeah, and that he's trapped in the royal family.
Harry told people that he was concerned for Catherine and William's children. I'd imagine that dog bowls are the least of his worries if William gets anywhere near him these days. I just know. I cannot believe that William and Catherine will go anywhere near them, because if they go near them, it then brings them a closer step to their children, into a proximity to Princes George and Princess Charlotte. And I do not think that they will want them to have anything to do with them whatsoever. They will protect them.
So Boshoff goes on. First and foremost, though, Harry is aiming for a complete reset of his relationship with his father, with friends saying it is likely a stay is still being planned for the Sussexes at Sandringham. The visit will be strictly private, no cameras, no subsequent Instagram posts, no revelations and interviews afterwards. I mean, again, the same promise was made. Yeah, because the same promise was made during the last visit. And remember, Harry was briefing to Us Weekly within about 4 days. A source close to Harry told Boshoff, Charles has let him know that he is really looking forward to seeing his grandchildren. Harry is looking forward to the visit and to building bridges. That is what everyone wants. It was decided months ago that he would be coming with the children and with Meghan as well. The conversation started in January. Harry said that he wanted to come over with Meghan and the kids for Invictus and proposed that the palace could support them. The view was that he would have to ensure that all of the family part of the visit remained private. He agreed to that in a heartbeat. The way he has conducted himself since then has led to confidence in this new version of Harry. He has changed a lot since Megxit. He has grown up. Waves of damaging scandal, however, followed Megxit. We know that. Oprah Winfrey, Netflix, Spare. Now, according to friends of Harry, a new idea has taken hold, which will see he and Meghan free to flog jam and make speeches for cash while they are in America, but treated as cherished members of the royal family when in the UK. The price for that is an assurance that there won't be any commercial activity when over here. At least that's the new deal as Harry sees it, and he is keen to keep to the terms when he arrives on July 6th. A source close to the prince said Harry is determined to play this one with a straight bat, by which I mean that there will be no commercial activity around this visit. That goes for him and Meghan. The source adds that Harry believes the royal family's stance on commercial activity has shifted considerably, not over everything, but there is recognition in senior circles of the court that activities in the UK and the US are different. There is some acceptance that in the UK he can act as a semi-working royal as long as there is nothing commercial going on here. In the US, he is a gun for hire and can take the money. In the UK, he will not. Apparently, Harry doesn't think that it completely undoes the terms of Megxit, but he is optimistic that it might allow him and his family to move beyond the outcome of the Sandringham Summit, which has sown only toxicity. His supporters argue there is precedent for the UK-US divide and that royals have always been allowed to make money in the US. This more nuanced position seems to have been made possible by gentle diplomacy by some of the King's advisors. Harry's supporters point out that former diplomat Theo Rycroft, deputy to the King's private secretary Sir Clive Alderton, is more amenable to making peace than Alderton and other advisors. Harry's friend reveals there is much closer cohesion between their teams. This is a well-planned visit, which is a result of that improved working relationship. The source said it was so far from where the royal family wanted to be, seeing family moments seemingly commercialised and thinking they might turn up on Netflix. But Tash, we already know they're breaking the terms of this deal. Meghan might be operating was never out of America, but the announcements that we have seen over the course of this week have been tied to what's going on in terms of the UK visit, like when she posted that email about summer entertaining just after it had emerged that she was here. And then how do you get around the fact that there are still going to be camera crews with them capturing the moments in the UK? It just feels like this agreement does.
No, it doesn't. It's completely written by Sussex people as well. I mean, to even say that when they're in the UK, they will be treated as cherished members. I'm pretty certain there's no one left in that family that cherishes either one of them. I do not believe that for a second. I'd imagine that Sophie is still raging as well because of the way that Meghan treated Queen Elizabeth II and the way that she was trying to get in pictures and use Princess Charlotte, to the point that Sophie actually glared at Meghan several times as they moved Charlotte away from her. I do not believe that the royal family have forgiven them for what they've done. They haven't just done one thing to one person. They've done a lot of things to all of them. And to treat Queen Elizabeth like that, they would have all known that she was dying and it was her final months on this earth. And Harry and Meghan made it as hurtful as possible. And they were still continuously trying to damage her legacy. I cannot see that anyone outside King Charles is even really wanting to talk to Harry. I mean, it was frosty when he came over for the King's coronation. I mean, I think even Eugenie and Jack were distant compared to how they have been with them as well. But that to me read like when they gave their Megxit demands, Harry and Meghan will have this, Harry and Meghan will have that. And it turned out that, well, obviously the Queen turned around and said no, but to turn around and say they will be treated as cherished members, by who exactly? The fact that there is, that they've changed their minds that Harry can actually be a semi-working royal. He's not a semi-working royal. A working royal is someone that represents the king and the crown. Harry does not represent the king or the crown. He doesn't represent anybody but himself. He's not a diplomat. He doesn't represent the government, the US government, the UK government. Harry is a private citizen who represents himself. So he is not a working royal and he never will be. And as for them trying to push, yes, well, the courtiers, the senior courtiers are now happy for Meghan and Harry to use their royal titles to flog stuff as long as it's in America and not in the UK. I do not believe that either. This to me is just Sussex propaganda that Alison Boshoff is the one that is to be the voice pushing that out there for whatever reason.
Yeah, because she has sort of been tasked with, because, at the Mail, you have this awkward situation where Rebecca English, who is the head of the Royal Rota and effectively speaks for Buckingham Palace, but she's also being personally sued by Prince Harry, who wants to destroy her. So I think they've put Alison Boshoff in and effectively said, okay, you go and be the mouthpiece for the Sussexes. But it is weird. It is very weird because unfortunately what it means is there are lies that are being reported and no journalist should ever report lies. Anyway, Boshoff then comes to Meghan, who she admits remains a deeply divisive figure both in the family and the country. But the source said there is some nervousness from Meghan about how she might be received. No sugar, Sherlock. They understand the British people feel as if she has turned Harry away from them, and there was natural disappointment in how things have played out, but there are hopes of breaking the ice here. Again, Tash, total misunderstanding of why we don't like you, Meghan. We don't like you because you turned Harry away from us. That's nothing to do with it. You know, we don't like you because you tried to destroy and bring down the British royal family with lies. Very simple.
Yeah.
Very, very simple. Sure, we can throw in the bullying, we can throw in the way you treat Harry, but actually, no. The fundamentals in terms of why you might be booed when you come here are because you tried to destroy the British royal family with lies and you made the late Queen Elizabeth II's dying days on earth a misery. That's it. And you can never change that. No PR can ever change that.
No one is ever going to be able to delete Meghan doing her bow that she did on Netflix. That's out there forever. And I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back with many, many people. This is a woman that wants people to announce her as she walks into a room. This is a woman that tells Invictus staff, and bearing in mind it's meant to be a charity, to refer to her as mom. This is a woman that literally is still using her royal emblem letters and her full titles to give gift baskets to her friends. And she tried to take the piss out of people curtsying to the Queen like it was an outdated thing, that it was so ridiculous. Yet Meghan wants to be treated herself many years later, despite it being the worst years of her life, by the cruel, archaic institute. Please make sure that you refer to me as the Duchess of Sussex. Please make sure you announce me. Please make sure that you obviously curtsy to me as well. I mean, honestly, this woman is a raging hypocrite. What more can you say about why the many reasons why the British public do not like Meghan? Plus, another big factor I think a lot of people were angry about was the race baiting. This was at a time when BLM, that was horrific. That was horrific, really. I mean,
they called us all racist, Tash. I mean, they called all the British public racist.
To use your children, even then, to use the children to turn around and say that Archie was going to be left unprotected, Archie wasn't going to have a title because he would have Meghan's DNA, because he might be a little bit brown as
and it wasn't. He got the title the moment that Queen Elizabeth II died. Exactly. It was a total lie.
Absolutely horrific to have done that. But
Boshoff is trying to paint a picture, though, Tash, of there being some closer relations within the family. She quotes a friend of Prince Harry saying there is a WhatsApp group via which Prince Harry shares family news and pictures with the wider royal family. This friend also makes the extraordinary claim that Harry has hopes of meeting with William and his family. The feeling among his friends is that Harry is likely to stay in Sandringham and that there will be a number of informal meetings with the wider family, and yes, that will include William. They do not hate each other, as has been reported. Are they tired of each other's attitudes to the situation? Yes. Are they wary of how the other will react? Again, yes. But there is a lot of hope that there might be a civil meeting in a few weeks. Many years have passed and everyone is older. He adds, their wives may have to grit their teeth. And again, for me, Tash, that is just a fundamental misunderstanding from Harry's side, Harry's friends, of how William actually feels. To suggest that this row, Tash, is simply between the wives. And I mean, yes, of course, huge issues with Meghan and Catherine. Okay. Like, you know, I was the first to report on them in the world. Huge issues. But Tash, that is not the only issue from William's side. Like, William's dislike of Harry is personal and visceral. And that's before you even bring the situation with Catherine and Meghan into it, honestly.
Yeah, of course. I mean, as I said, it's not just one thing, it's so many things. It's the way that Harry and Meghan have continued to use Diana in such a way to earn money, to whip out, you know, when they want a bit of positive coverage. I mean, Harry retracing Diana's steps with the landmine walk again and again and again. You know, that's Prince William's mum. And Harry just seems to take ownership of anything to do with Princess Diana, the way that Meghan behaved when she went over to Paris with her feet up, going near where, you know, Diana was killed in a tunnel. The references recently about Archie and Lily being chased by paparazzi. We're not stupid. We know exactly what Harry is trying to imply. He's trying to say that if his children come over, they will end up being killed just like his mother. You know, and then you've got the attacks on Catherine. You've got the attacks that they did on the Queen. Prince William was very, very close to Queen Elizabeth and his grandfather, Prince Philip. And he's also seen the stress that is put in on their father, who has cancer. He also knows a lot of the lies that Harry and Meghan have pushed over and over and over. And as for that source being Harry's friend, is that the same Harry's friend that gave the interview, or, you know, Harry's thoughts, that said recently to ITV that Harry knows that there are, I think it was something like 3 members of palace staff that work on Ravik, one being in Prince William's office? That was Harry's friend as well. Who are these friends? We all know that the majority of Harry's friends with actual any common sense ditched him a long time ago. So I'm sorry, I'm just finding a lot of this, it's just Sussex propaganda coming out. But I do not believe anything that Alison Boshoff said in there is coming truthfully, from the palace side. That to me is just all Sussex propaganda. Everybody is to treat Harry and Meghan as cherished members. Harry is fine to earn money merching his titles, as is Meghan. You know, they are coming to the palace. They're not coming to the palace. It's just one big circus. And the thing is, I think everybody's almost had enough of it now. I mean, even the people that generally hate watch, I think they're already over Harry and Meghan's visit, and they're not even here yet now because
Exactly.
they've blown it up again. And the few people that were reporting favorably, they don't want anything to do with them anymore because they've made
because
them
they've
and
been
their
made
forces.
to
That's
look
stupid.
like
Stupid.
fools. Well, look,
Yes,
I think
eggs on the face. Everybody's got egg. Apart from
I
us.
think we have well and truly dismantled Megxit. It's just not going to catch on.
not saying
Megxit. It's not going to catch
I'm
on.
not saying
It even just sounds weird, doesn't it? Megxit. Anyway, Tash has so much more of this at her brilliant YouTube channel, According to Taz. Make sure you subscribe for all of her brilliant royal analysis, which we love so much. Thank you so much,
Thank
Tash.
you.
This video is for news reporting, commentary, and educational purposes. The views expressed are based on publicly available information and personal analysis. We strive for accuracy but encourage viewers to verify information through official sources.